Welcome to the Game Closet, everyone. Come on in and make yourself comfortable. Now, since you are here and you've obviously survived the holidays, Christmas and Hanukkah have come and gone, and we even survived New Year's Eve with a big smile on our face. Well, some of us did. Now, you may know this guy right back here. Oh, RadBash, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, brother. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could be here. RadBash had this great idea, and I was glad to help out, but you know, since it was his baby, why don't you tell me a little bit about, where you came up with this idea?
Yeah, so I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. And over the years of being a young child, I was given many gifts, and a lot of those were gaming related. So I thought it'd be fun to get a bunch of people together to talk about games that they also got, whether it be a system or a console that they got this year or when they were 5. I wanted to learn more about that, and I assumed the viewers would know about that too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure that everyone who is participating with us today, they either got something very recently or even something from way back when they were a little YouTuber.
I got it raw.
Our first post-holiday elf to help kick things off is none other than Gamer Aimer. Gamer Aimer, take it away.
Hey guys, Gamer Aimer here, and one of my favorite Christmas moments would have to be waking up on Christmas back in the day and finding a Nintendo 64 under the Christmas tree. When I went ahead and unboxed this right here, and I saw how beautiful this system was, the jungle green Nintendo 64 with Donkey Kong. I absolutely love this game, and I know a lot of people have like a love-hate relationship with it, but this really meant so much to me, and having my childhood jungle green Nintendo 64 in my collection to this day really drives this passion of mine. And that's not all, because I also unboxed this amazing game. This really shaped my love for gaming. This is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. My cousins had the first one. This one right here, this soundtrack, just everything going on in this game, and then even skateboarding as well. This is also my childhood copy, and I just absolutely love this game. It is mind-blowing that I still have these to this day, and I can really live on with these memories, these magic moments, and I want to know, what are your favorite moments from the holidays?
Mystically is here, and big thanks to Dr. Scott for inviting me on here to do this today. What's your favorite Christmas gaming gift you've ever gotten? So that's a big question, you know what I mean? I get a lot of cool gaming gifts. I got a lot of cool gaming gifts just this year. Just last year, I was gifted a Resident Evil chainsaw controller by my brother-in-law, which, man, that's an outrageous gaming gift, right? But to answer Scott's question, I went ahead and dug up some of my old family home VHSs, home movies, and let me show you what I found.
Growing up through the 90s and early 2000s was an amazing experience, filled with plenty of awesome gaming-related Christmas gifts. A bunch I could talk about here today, and we'll probably talk about on future videos. But when Dr. Scott asked me this question, it got me thinking. I knew I had a bunch of old home movies laying around that were on Christmas, and I wanted to go back and see if I had footage of any of them and which ones were the most special to me. And I found one, for sure. And it's probably going to be a little bit different from what you're thinking. So there's a little backstory to this. This whole summer, when I got this gift you're about to see me open right here, I had been working. This is 2006, and I was trying to build my own computer, and I accomplished that goal by this time, but I hadn't been able to get the monitor I wanted. And I had a monitor, but it was a big old janky one, an early one, probably pre-2000, and I was still using it, and my parents knew that, so they went out and they found me something.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get the 19-inch.
What'd you get, Matt?
19-inch LCD flat panel monitor.
Oh, I bet Santa had a hard time carrying that.
Receiving this monitor at that time meant so much to me because it was like my last step into the next gen gaming. I had the badass computer at that time. I had the badass monitor now. I was ready to go. And I really couldn't thank him enough for doing that. And it was an awesome time afterwards for sure. And not only that, it was my first computer I ever built. And it was my first kind of console I ever got because I never bought a new console up until this point by myself. and having them top it off like that, having the icing on the cake, it really meant the world for me at that time. And it would also follow me across country and back.
He said it was compatible with any computer.
Did that just make your whole Christmas or what? Yeah. We think, yeah, he said that was compatible with anything, and he said you would love it.
Easily, Oh, that's 19 inch.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's like mine.
Yours is 17.
Yeah, but on Matt's computer, that thing's gonna go crazy.
So big thanks again, Dr. Scott, for inviting me on here to do this. It was super cool going back and looking through the VHS home movies and finding different footage of me getting gifts on Christmas from back in the day, and it was really cool. Yeah, you inspired me to even do that, and I got all that stuff digitized now. So big thanks, man.
What's up, YouTube? I was asked to say, what's a special Christmas present / memory from the past?
Ooh. Well, we're waiting.
Well, that's kind of more Halloween themed. But I had a funny story. Growing up, when I got a PlayStation 1, I was used to the old school way of either putting cheat codes in or cartridges having a battery save on there, so that way you can keep your progress of games going. Now, I had games like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that where you could just kind of keep going through, like I said, using cheat codes. Well, when I finally got into RPG gaming, I ran into an issue with Final Fantasy VII, and that was, yes, you had to use a memory card. So I remember multiple times progressing through the story of Final Fantasy VII, only to shut my console off, turn it back on, and do it over again. It was at one time that I was dedicated to not doing this anymore, which led to a certain PS1 being left on for what seemed like weeks at a time. Now, this had happened multiple times, well, at least one time in the past, and my dad had wandered into the room and when I wasn't there and seen my PlayStation was on and shut it off, because obviously, you know how dads are. We can't let stuff run, otherwise we're wasting electricity. But I remember finally one night, my buddy had come over. It was probably, I think it was in the beginning of December. I was done with Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, nope, I'm not playing anymore. I don't understand how this works, because I was pretty young at the time, and he explained to me what exactly a memory card was. So then I was like, okay, this is what I need for Christmas. Because, yeah, we ended up spending, I think, staying up all night and getting out of Midgar, which is, a few hours from the game. And anytime that I left the room for extended periods of time for school and stuff like that, I'd put a towel or something over the PlayStation 1 so that way you couldn't see the light on. So that way if a parent or somebody would wander in there, you could not see that the console was on. And then finally, when freaking Christmas came around the corner, I could see the present underneath the tree. I knew exactly what it was, and it was one of the first things I opened. And it was just a simple freaking PlayStation 1 memory card, guys. This memory has stood out to me through the times. I mean, I'm 37 now. This was probably close to 25, 26 years ago. And I can still remember opening up that PlayStation 1 card and finally having my own. And it was the best thing ever. And I just, like I said, still this day, I remember this. It's one of my greatest presents I ever got, because I could finally get past most of Final Fantasy VII, and then of course later on I got in like Final Fantasy VIII and other games that required the memory card later on in the PS1 life. So that's my answer for this question.
What's up, everybody? Happy holidays. You got the video game voter here. So first of all, I want to thank RadBash for having me be a part of this special episode. So my favorite gift that I ever received for Christmas was the Game Boy. Now, this isn't the exact same one. I did recently pick this up at SoCal Retro Gaming Expo. And this was pretty much the exact same model that I got when I was 4 years old. And this is very special to me because this was my very first console that belonged to me and is very near and dear to me. I remember the day that I got it, how excited I was. So I made it my business to get this same model to take me back in time. So again, thank you guys for having me on this episode. Happy holidays.
Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and thank you, Bash, and everyone else for having me in the video. The best game I've ever gotten for Christmas was the first game I ever got for Christmas. and it was the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet cartridge. I got this for Christmas when I was 5 years old. I had played a few video games at arcades before that, and I had seen a few of them at like relatives' houses, but I had never really sat down in front of my TV and played a video game. And let me tell you, I was addicted from the onset. I started with Super Mario Brothers, and I stayed up all night. The sun came up the morning after Christmas, and I was still playing that game. And you know what? I've never stopped. I'm 42 now, and I've continued to play games ever since. I've never given it a break. I've never even considered giving up the hobby. You can see behind me, I'm still addicted to it, and it's because of this game. It was probably the best thing I ever got for any Christmas. Of course, that's including the NES console. I got the whole package, but it was very impactful on my life, and I thank my parents for doing that and teaching me about something that I would grow to love so much, something that would be so highly important in my life. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. I appreciate every one of you. I'll catch you guys later.
What's going on, everyone? It's the Mad Belmont here. Thank you so much to Scott from the Game Closet for having me on for this collab. I greatly appreciate it, man, because you see, we're talking about the best Christmas presents that we ever got that was gaming related, right? And so for me, there's one in particular that I had gotten in Christmas for 2009, and that game is Gears of War 2. The reason why Gears of War 2 was such a special Christmas present for me is because it was the game that got away from me from the longest time. When it came out, I did not have a 360. I had a 360 in 2007. It was an Xbox Live Arcade model, and that crapped the bed in August of 2008. November is when the game came out. Yeah, so I had to wait a few months. Got my second 360 in March of 2009, and that whole entire year, I tried like heck. to get me a copy of that game, and I could not do it. And then, eventually, I just gave up on it. I said, one day I'll get it. My parents, my lovely parents, who I am super grateful for, they went out and they scoured all of Harlan County, and they even went to Middlesboro trying to find this freaking game. And so it finally got to me on Christmas Day. It was the Platinum Hits version of the game, and I absolutely cannot thank them enough, because I had so many great memories playing that game with my friends and family members, playing the multiplayer, the horde mode, the co-op campaign, single player campaign by myself. I just have so many great memories with Gears of War 2, and really the whole Gears of War franchise as a whole, but specifically with Gears of War 2, I have so many fond memories of playing that game with my friends and my family. So yeah, the game that at one point in time got away from me, it finally got to me, and it was on Christmas Day, thanks to my parents. And that is why Gears of War 2 will always be a special Christmas present to me. There you have it. That is why Gears of War 2 is such a special game to me, and why it is the best game I got on Christmas. Thank you again, Scott, for having me on for this collab. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one, my fellow Belmonts.
What's going on, guys? It's Rad from Up Down Select. Again, thank you, Scott, for allowing me to co-host this episode. So, for my pick, I had to talk about the year for Christmas. I got the Super Nintendo Mini from Santa. So let's talk about it. So the Super Nintendo Mini is a miniature console loaded with I think it's 20 or 30 Super Nintendo hits. But the reason I really love this gift is so it came with one game in specific, and that was Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. And now I grew up playing this game. I love this game. I play this a lot with my mom. But what's really special about this is when we got it that Christmas, I was like, hey, I'm going to hook it up in the living room, downstairs. And so it was myself, my girlfriend, my sister, my dad, and my mom all downstairs. And we basically were taking turns like fighting each other in Street Fighter, and it was like this all-out brawl. And eventually it came down to my mom and I being the champions, and it was probably 2 hours of just back and forth. My mom and I'd win, she'd win, I'd win, she'd win, I'd win, and it was intense. There was yelling, there was fighting, there was a lot of fun. I love that memory. It's something I cherish and will always be grateful. Now, do I play my mini all the time now? No, not so much. But I'll always look at it and remember that Christmas in specific. There you have it. That's my pick for the best gift I got for Christmas. Down below, let us know, what is something great that you got for Christmas that you love and still cherish to this day? Could be old, could be new. And again, thank you, Scott, for having me. You guys can find me on Up Down Select. And let's see what Scott got.
Christmas was always a special time for my family, as it is for many, but I look back with real nostalgia now, especially since my parents aren't with us any longer. I wasn't necessarily a spoiled rotten kid, but when it came to Christmas, my mom and dad made my eyes light up every Christmas morning. When I was a little kid, I received
the $6 million man! Oh boy, an Atari VCS! Yay! Thank you, Santa! My very own Commodore 64! Ah, screw my Atari!
Then there came a time where I wasn't asking for toys or consoles any longer. In high school, I studied art and music very closely, as well as girls. And I sort of forgot about gaming. Now, a few years passed and I bought a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo. I had graduated from high school, I was halfway through college, and I had a great job, and it was Christmas time 1994. Mom asked me what I wanted, and I asked for the third game in a series for the Sega Genesis. I had played the previous 2 games, and I really enjoyed them. I could have bought it for myself, of course, but she got it for me from my favorite video gaming store in Amherst, Ohio, Flashback Video Games, and I absolutely cherished it. That game was Urban Strike. Developed and published by Electronic Arts, Urban Strike is the sequel to Desert Strike 1992 and Jungle Strike 1993. Urban Strike is a helicopter-based action game where you take control of various helicopters to fight against a cult led by the villainous H.R. Malone. The game takes place across different American cities, like New York and Las Vegas, as you try to stop Malone from building a super weapon and overthrowing the government. These helicopters are loaded to the teeth with missiles and chain guns in order to destroy terrorist threats. And trust me, the choppers are the stars of the games. Urban Strike brings the action home rather than foreign lands like the previous 2 games, as the threat is the aforementioned H.R. Malone, a megalomaniacal former presidential candidate who decides to stage a coup and take over the United States. While the first 2 games took me a week or so to beat, I defeated Urban Strike in just 2 days as I was addicted to the gameplay and to the choppers. Sadly, I sold the game several years later, and looking back, I would regret that decision as time went on. The sentimental value grew later, as sentiment usually does, but it was too late. The game was gone, but the memories were still there. Recently, I decided to reobtain the game, and I found a very, very nice copy, finally. And although this isn't my original copy, I will treat it like it is my original. I have a very special place in my heart for helicopter-based games, and if you could take a peek into my twisted little mind, you would see an 11-year-old kid sitting on the sofa watching Blue Thunder, starring Roy Scheider and Daniel Stern. Yes, the very same Daniel Stern from Home Alone. To an 11-year-old boy, Blue Thunder was the ultimate technological fighting machine, and the Strike series helped the little kid inside of me live out some high-flying, fast-paced, explosive hijinks. As you can clearly see, this game has a tightly woven tapestry of nostalgia for me and the little kid that still lives inside me today. I'd like to say thanks to all of you for watching, and to RadBash for stopping by the Game Closet for this post-Christmas holiday treat. RadBash, tell the folks out there about your new project and where they can see more of your work.
Absolutely. First off, thanks again for having me. But second off, you can find me on Up Down Select. It is a trio channel. There are 3 of us. It's myself, Cy, and Ken, and we do all types of gaming stuff, collecting, room tours, reviews, all that kind of stuff. And again, you can find that on Up Down Select on YouTube.
Absolutely, and I have seen the first couple of videos. I am really enjoying it, so everybody, there will be links to the Up Down Select channel, as well as links to all the rest of our friends you saw in the video today, right down there in the description. For RadBash and the rest of the gang, thanks for watching, and catch you later. I'd like to say thanks to all of you for watching and to RadBash for stopping by the game closet for this post-holiday Don't forget to flush. See you, kid!
You broke him.
Oh, that was. Oh, I love that. That was.
That's what I do all the time.